Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to do a hands-on on production level AWS VPC architecture. In this diagram, I have the basic production level architecture that should be used in many organizations. The first thing you need to notice is you need to use at least 2 and ideally 3 availability zones supported by a large CIDR block divided into compact or 24 subnets per availability zone for scalability and isolation. In this diagram, there are 2 availability zones are shown, each one with one public subnet and one private subnet. The private subnet needs may vary based on application, and you may also create 2 or 3 private subnets based on the application needs. Let us jump into the practical hands-on by creating this VPC architecture inside our AWS. So here, as I said before, we are not going to use the default VPC that is created when we create the account. So as you know, this has some restrictions, and now we are going to create a VPC from scratch. And let us first use VPC only, and this VPC and more will create subnets and NAT gateways and internet gateways along with it, but we don't want it. As we are starting right now, we just create it from the scratch. We will name it as a and we will input the IPv4 CIDR range as 16 so that we can use bar 24 for every subnet that we create. Default tenancy and VPC encryption control, for now it will be none, and if we need any strict behavior under your VPC, we may use monitor mode or enforce mode. So let us now create only the VPC. Yeah, we currently have the production VPC, but we don't have any subnets and all, and the default route table is being created. Let us create a subnet. So choose the VPC as production VPC that we created right now, and the subnet as public subnet 1. This will be in this particular availability zone, and we will be creating another public subnet in another availability zone. Let us take 2 availability zone for this video. And the VPC CIDR block, the IPv4 CIDR block will be bar 24 on number 1. As you know, this is public subnet and the tags are as follows. Let us create this one. Let us create another one following the same VPC. This one is also going to be public subnet 2. The availability zone will be on B, AP South 1B. Then IPv4 subnet CIDR block will be on 2 or 24. So we will get 256 IPs. Then let us create this. Now let us create another subnet. You know, this is private subnet 1 in the availability zone as same as the public subnet 1, and let us create it by naming it as 11. We will be creating private subnet 2 right now. So this will be going to be in the same availability zone as public subnet 2. Now we just created 4 subnets and 1 VPC. Then now you may see this public subnet over here, but this public subnet is not going to be the name referred as public subnet. Now it is a subnet, not a public subnet. The one thing that is missing here is we do not add an internet gateway to this route table of the subnet. So let us add it. Before that, let me create an route table for public subnet and private subnet separately. The default one was created by the VPC itself. Yeah, the default one is created by the VPC itself. You can see our VPC over here, production VPC. It has been created the default route table, but we will be taking this route table as a public subnet route table. We will modify the name, and we will create a private route table. For production level case, we will be creating different route table for different subnets. This is one common behavior when it comes to production VPC. So in this private route table, we will be adjusting the route to the NAT gateway, but for now we didn't create it yet. Let us create internet gateway for our production VPC IGW So this is going to be attached to our production VPC. Don't forget to attach it. If you not attach this VPC, we will never get this internet gateway in the selection of public route table routes. So when we are going here, when we select the anywhere 0.0.0.0/0, we can't able to select the internet gateway. The internet gateway will never be listed down there if you do not attach it to the particular VPC that you need. So let us select the internet gateway right now, save the changes, and now the public route table is ready and our subnets can able to access the internet, and VPC is now public. Now we need a NAT gateway and we will be attaching it to the private route table. Let us set up a NAT gateway, create NAT gateway. While creating NAT gateway, you need to be aware of the cost. If you are creating this on your own demo purposes or you are just experiencing with it, make sure you delete the NAT gateway after you created all the production level VC structure and all, because NAT will consume a lot of cost, so that don't forget to delete it. So here we need to understand one thing. The availability mode right here is of two types, regional and zonal. The regional is not but a single NAT gateway. Like the NAT gateway will make sure it is spanned across all the regional availability zone. If a particular region has 6 availability zones, this NAT gateway will be in the 6 availability zones. But when we are selecting zonal, we are particularly limiting this NAT gateway inside a particular subnets availability zone, right? We just created subnets in 2 availability zones, so the NAT gateway can only be in 2 availability zones. But when you are selecting the regional NAT gateway, in which region the VPC will be in, the NAT gateway will be spanned across every availability zones. So make sure you create zonal, but in production we will be creating the NAT gateway in regional way, so that if any disaster or things occur in any particular zone, the other zones will take care of the NAT gateway and it will work seamlessly. Now let us choose regional. Then the connectivity type will be in public, and method of elastic IP allocation is automatic. If you don't need it, you can do it as manually, and you need to attach the elastic IP for every availability zone. So basically in this particular Asia Pacific Mumbai region, there is only 3 availability zones. If you select any other region, and if you see here, the region may consist of 6 availability zones too. So you need to attach elastic IP for each of the availability zones. So we just don't need to do it manually, tell NAT gateway to do it. So it will be automatically attached to each of the availability zones. So that's it. We have the tags over here, and let us create NAT gateway. So this one too consumes a lot of cost, so make sure you delete it after your demo purposes. So it has been creating, it will take some time. The elastic IP will also be attached to the NAT gateway. Now you can see our VPC architecture over here. We see our subnets over here and the route tables, which is targeting to the public route table and connecting to the internet gateway. But you know, the private route table is not yet connected to NAT gateway. So let us connect the subnets route table. So go to private subnet route table. The subnets we create by default is attached to the default VPC's route table. So when we are creating a different private route table, we need to attach it to the particular subnet that we need it. So now let us do anywhere, and the NAT gateway just what we created right now. Save changes. The route table is updated. So now it says black hole. You know, the NAT gateway is still being created, not yet created. It is in bending state, so that it says the black hole. So now let us go to the private subnet and let us see what the route table it has. So you can see the private subnet also has the route table of public subnet. So we need to modify the route table association. We will change it to private route table. So why by default public route table is attached to the private subnets is the main route table, that we just changed the name of the route table. That's why. So now let us modify it to private route table and save it. Now we get our route as follows to the NAT gateway. So let us change it for the another subnet too. So that's it. We have public route table and private route table, which is associated to the particular subnets under the production VPC. So you can see the public subnet goes around to the public route table and connected to internet gateway. The private subnet is connected to the private route table and go to NAT gateway. So everything is perfect. So we just created the perfect production level VPC architecture, and you must know whatever things that will be in the public subnet and whatever things in the private subnet. In the public subnet, there will be application load balancer, internet gateway, and everything which is exposed to the internet. But in private subnet, your private EC2 instances will be there and your database will be there. So it can access the internet gateway by using NAT gateway and application load balancer within a private route table. And this is how it goes. If you need to access the private EC2 instances, we will be having a bastion host or public EC2 instance in the public subnet and accessing the private EC2 instances. And the route tables are must. We need to be separate, prepare the route table for public and private. I said before, the NAT gateway is in regional availability mode, spans around across the availability zones. So make sure to delete it, and it will cost more if you don't. That's it. Let us see in the next video. Thank you.